Welcome, welcome. Another episode. Fade the Deuce. I'm just going to do this all by myself tonight. Just kidding. Come on, Kev. Come on,
You
Kev.
do it better than me.
That's right, baby. I'm 3-0. I should put my little ticker right here.
Yeah.
And the man.
You gotta add it.
Ryan's cash money picks.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Ryan's picks to click. There we go. Just stealing it from Hawk Harrelson. So you both had a dumpster fire week last week, other than your lock, right? The locks were good for Matt and not for you, Kev.
Yeah, I was 2-3 in the regular picks, and I missed my lock. I had Colorado State plus 7.5. They got smoked. So
I could tell that Kev was having a rough weekend when I sent my Indiana UCLA pick to him, and he's basically like, "Man, like I'm having a rough one." And I was just like, I hadn't even looked at any of the other really scores.
Thank God I changed the Alabama Wisconsin pick that week, dude.
Hey, Ryan.
The name of the show is Fade Me. Go opposite.
Yeah. I put my real hard-earned money on IU at the Rose Bowl, and it was a easy winner.
That's right. I know. And sometimes that's what I'm trying to think. Sometimes it's like normally most people probably wouldn't do that, but I'm like, I've seen UCLA play. I've seen Indiana. I don't care about the flight. You know, it's like so. And Indiana's a lot better than I think we all thought. Yeah. I think they're pretty good.
They've been great under their new coach.
Yep, sounds good. So tonight, five games, one lock. Let's get to it. We try to keep this show between 30 to 40 minutes. There's, I know that I've got people that are trying to want me to do that, so we're going to do that. So tonight, let's start with our beloved, all of our team, and it's a primetime matchup, and it's the Friday night game. I think it's awesome. Tons of eyes are going to be on it. Illinois travels to Lincoln. Kevin is going to be there. The spread I've seen, is at 10, and it went down, to 8 in some sites.
It's bouncing all around the place.
It's 9, 9.5. It's 8. I'm like, so we're just going to go with 9 right in the middle because I know we've seen that today. So 9, and who knows, it might be up to 9.5 by Friday. So interesting, is it going to be wet? I know Kevin doesn't want me saying it's going to rain. Brett Bielema, his presser, which I love. I mentioned this on Keeping It Orange and Blue last night. He said that weathermen and sports writers have the easiest job in the world because they don't have to be right. Just half the time is fine. So he said he saw it was supposed to be sunny and nice, and then like 12 hours later, it's rainy in Lincoln. So it could be a wet weather game. They've been preparing for that. And, it's going to be a fun one. It's late night, Fox, Tim Brando, Dylan Raiola going up against the best team of that he's played this year, especially defensively. 9 points in a hostile environment, first ranked game in Lincoln in over a decade. So we know that. Well, Matt, we'll start with you. Illinois, do they have what it takes to cover? And and if they cover, then obviously this is going to be a one-score game. So do you think this is going to be that close?
I do, and I say that because I typically look at spreads like this. 9 is a relatively big number for a very low point total. I looked earlier today, point total is sitting at 43, so they're expecting this game to be a just knock them out, drag them out type of game. I think you'll see some offense a little bit early, then I think they really start to clamp down. But as kind of you mentioned, Illinois 3-0, first time since 2011. Nebraska 3-0 since 2016. Nebraska really hasn't been tested. Illinois, first true road game. It's going to be hostile. All eyes on the game Friday night. There's a lot at stake here. It could set the tone for the rest of the Big Ten season. I think Nebraska, their defense ranks 116th in the nation in rush D. So can the Illini run the ball using their kind of three-headed attack, kind of ground and pound them, and mix in, some offensive passes with Altmaier. But can they control the game? And then Illinois secondary, they've been great all year, but they're going to be tested here as well with Raiola. I mean, he's going to let it fly. And, I think Nebraska has this feeling about them right now that they haven't had in a long time. And I think their fan base is really starting to, turn a corner. Not that they ever left, but, there's been some meager times over the last 5-10 years. So but yeah, I go back, long-winded answer. I'm taking the Illini +9 with a low point total of 43. I think this game could be 20-17, 21-17. I'm not going to say who's going to win or going to lose, but somewhere around in there. I'm gonna take the Illini +9.
Now, with all that you said, Matt, leading to you, Kev, do they pull out the black shirts for Friday?
Maybe.
Dude,
400.
Scott Frost loved to do that like every other game when they were giving up 40.
Yeah,
that might be worth a point.
Matt Rule is much more in the Brett Bielema school of you wear your uniform kind of deal, right? Like Illinois is wearing the fancy stuff this year with the helmets in the Michigan game because they're honoring it. It's I think it's a little. I don't know how much say Brett had in that. But I know that Brett traditionally likes to wear – I mean, it's why the Gray Ghosts have not made an appearance during his tenure. He likes to wear our helmet the way it is, and I think Rule's probably in that category. They might break him out. I'm in agreement with what Matt says. I lean to the under in this game, and so that's where 9 points, under 43, 44 and a half total, depending on where you're looking, where you're getting it. We pulled it off Scores and Odds this morning. We went with it with 9. I like Illinois to stay within that number. One thing I think, Ryan, you and I failed to talk about enough last night on Keeping It Orange and Blue was the potency of Illinois' field goal team, the ability for Illinois, if they get across midfield, to possibly score 3 points is very real in that situation.
Yeah, great point.
And I'm looking at, and I'm agreeing with Jason Ron here. I've been looking at it a lot. Looks like that rain forecast has probably moved to Saturday, according to AccuWeather and Weather Channel.
Super hot, super humid, late night. Okay.
Yeah, ball might carry. Like balls carry in baseball when it's humid. So I don't know about footballs. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. More moisture in the air, I think it wouldn't travel. But I'm not a physicist by any stretch of the imagination. I think Illinois is going to have to stop the run. Illinois is going to have to be effective running the ball with Altmaier. I think Illinois can do enough. I think Illinois can throw enough disguises at Rail's way that they're not going to be able to run up and down the field and score a bunch of points on us. I think Illinois stays within the number. I said on the show, I'll stay with it 24-17. Could be something like 23-16. I wouldn't be surprised if Illinois kicks 3 field goals. That would not surprise me. This Nebraska defense and the defensive front is really good. But give me the Illini and the points.
And your guest picker tonight is your buddy Chad, who's probably tuning in tonight, right? And Kevin is going to the Nebraska game with him, and he's having a hot cabbage hot pocket.
Well, I mean, if it's that hot, I don't know if I'm gonna get a runza. So I mean, it's pretty.
It's a runza. That's right. We talked to. So last night, Matt, we talked to Common Fan, the Nebraska podcast, and they were telling us about the runzas. I'd never even heard of it.
I have had a runza.
All right. So Chad, my buddy, I asked him if he wanted to come on. His vacation is officially starting tomorrow. He lives in West Palm Beach. We were roommates together when I lived down there for a year. He actually had some commentary here, so I thought it was pretty cool. Illinois and Nebraska -9, pick Illinois. My heart wants to take Nebraska, but my mind and wallet knows this is a very close game with 3 points either way. Give me the Fighting Zooks to right the shit. Because when we lived together, Zook was coaching, and he'd wake up in the morning, and it was college football Saturday. Illinois always played the 11 game, and Nebraska always was a 2:30 game, and he'd throw on his Illinois shirt to start the day, and I'd throw on my Nebraska shirt, and he'd be like, "Let's go Fighting Zookers." So that's a funny one. So he's got Illinois covering.
So he doesn't have the Nebra annoy shirt.
No. Like no. He's an Illinois fan because Nebraska people are the nicest people in the world, and we live together, and he wants me to be happy. He roots for Illinois probably 11 Saturdays a week. I don't know I could say the same about Nebraska, but I've lessened my hate for them because of Chad.
So he's got a nice little journey. He's driving up from West Palm Beach to pick you up to drive.
No. I'm picking him up in Omaha Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
He's flying into Omaha, and I'm picking him up.
All right. So in game 2 here tonight, We've got Utah traveling to Okie State, just a couple blocks down from Kevin's house in Stillwater. And interesting, Kevin, we're going to start with you tonight. Cam Rising will be back. Cam Rising. Will the Utes be rising with Cam inserted back into the starting lineup? I can tell you this: Oklahoma State was very impressive week 1. Against South Dakota State. I thought that was going to be an upset type game. They dominated, but then last week I really feel like Arkansas just let them off the hook.
Yeah, that game against Arkansas. Arkansas
like
400 yards in the first half.
Yeah, and like Arkansas just didn't capitalize when they needed to. I got to be honest, Pittman really blew that one. That was a really terrible coach game from Sam Pittman. Anyway, so not really sure what Oklahoma State we're going to get here, but I think we know what Rising you're going to get from Cam when he's in lineup, even though this is week 1, though, of him coming back from missing all of last year.
He played week 1.
Oh, he did?
He did.
Oh, sorry.
And then he played last week. He got hurt again.
Did he ding himself up? Okay. Yeah. All right. There we go. So that throws a little more of a wrench into it. Is he healthy? Kevin, we'll start with you. 2.5-point favorite Utah in Stillwater.
I hate doing this. It's not prime time.
Don't do it. Don't say it.
Okay. It is a road favorite. I probably sent you guys my picks that I'm going with Oklahoma State. I'm going with Utah here. Oklahoma State can't stop a nosebleed when they're playing real teams here. I think Utah's offense is good enough to score some points on Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State, their run game it's confusing me why it's not better.
Yeah.
I like Utah to cover this here, but almost took it for the lock of the week. I like them in the over in this game. I think the over, I'll go pull it up. The last time I looked, I think it was like 54.5, but I think I like the over in this game because I think that Oklahoma State's going to have to try and score to stay in this game because their defense just isn't it.
I was going to say, in your picks, Kevin, earlier, you said Utah for a half unit.
I did, yeah. I'm still on Utah for a half unit then. I'm still on Utah for a half unit. The line's moved from 1.5 to – it's 53.5. I like that. I like the over. I see this game being something like 35-31.
Okay. All right.
But I'm staying with Utah for a half there.
All right. Are you a believer in Gundy Magic?
I'm a believer in Gundy Magic in Stillwater. I am. I'm taking the home dog here and give me the 2.5 points.
Is it because he's a man?
He's a man and he's over 40. I know that.
He's over 50 now. That was a long time.
Yeah, that's a damn fact. But Kev's right. Ollie Gordon has been very wildly inconsistent, should be better. The run game, I don't get it. I haven't understood it. It's specifically, they returned a veteran offensive line. I think 4 or 5 starters came back from last year. So they just haven't clicked offensively yet. I think this is the game they do somehow find a way to click. Both these teams obviously ranked undefeated. I kind of like a little Stillwater magic here, being a home dog. Cam Rising, his laceration was on his hand. Now, I think it's not his throwing hand. It's the other. But does that affect him in any way? Probably not. But can he stay healthy throughout the game? Because, like you said, he missed all of last season. He's already missed time this year. And so, if he goes down, they've got major problems. I'm also a little worried about the Utah secondary because Bowman, though their rush offense has been a little lackluster, Bowman has tossed it around pretty well throughout the season, through the first 3 games. So can Utah secondary, not their strength, that give up, they're over ranked plus 100 and explosive plays in the secondary. So I'm going to take the passing attack here from Okie State. Hopefully they can stop somebody, and hopefully they can find a run game. But I like a home dog, so I'm taking them plus 2.5, 1 unit.
What's your boy Chad got?
All right, so my boy Chad with his written commentary might need to actually come on the show. All right, Utah -2.5 at Oklahoma
I'll send him a
State.
link if he wants to put his face on here.
I told him that. I think he's a little inebriated tonight. He's already
Oh,
tuned in.
okay. All
He said
right.
the pick, Okie State, the combined age of these two starting quarterbacks is nearly enough to draw Social Security, and only a few years away from saying, "I'm a man, I'm 40, give me the fighting mullets." Oklahoma State -2.5, or +2.5.
He sounds like he's got a good sense of humor, man. If he's
Oh,
quoting us already.
That's
So yeah, I like it. I like it. The next game on the docket, which I'm happy we're doing, to me, I feel like this is an easy one, and I'm only saying it just because Tennessee's just looked like a world. They just looked like dynamic as hell, and they look like they could give some of the other teams up at the tippy top a run for their money this year. And Oklahoma has kind of been, like, wait a second, Houston did what? So I think Oklahoma has some offensive issues. I think, just from commentary I've been listening to, I know Kev knows more about this than me because he lives in it. But just from an outsider perspective, when I'm watching Oklahoma and you're listening to their radio guys or their beat writers talk, it's like they're worried. There's issues with that offense. Can they score enough points to keep it within 7 is how I'm looking at this game.
Right.
So Matt, we're going to start with you. Tennessee looks like they're just
world beaters.
They're on rocket fuel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Oklahoma looks like they're on sludge. So do you think Oklahoma can score enough to keep it within the 7 here? And even if it's in Norman,
I don't. And if there is one silver lining for OU, it is their defense. I mean, they've forced 10 turnovers so far through 3 games, which I think is top 3 in the country. Our line are 8th, and they've forced 10. But I just don't see them being able to keep up with this offense. The Vols have outscored their opponents 191-13.
Let's not just they beat up on NC State. Let's just keep it real.
Exactly.
They've been playing the Sisters of the Poor here for everybody.
And OU, they've played, let's see, Tulane, Houston, and Temple, and haven't had one game where they've gotten over 400 yards of offense. And those are some bad defenses, especially Houston. Tulane's decent.
Temple's terrible.
Temple is terrible. And they haven't been able to get over 400 yards of offense. I see this game. I mean, Nico, I can't pronounce his last name, but, redshirt, 5-star, he's just lighting the scoreboard up. He hasn't even played in the second half in 2 out of the 3 games. The only game he played all the way through is NC State, and they still crushed him. But they haven't needed him, and they're still, 191-13. First in the nation in points per game, 3rd in defensive points allowed. I don't see Oklahoma scoring enough. Give me the Vols -7 on the road.
Okay, Kev, go for it. Let's see. Are you going to defend the Sooners here?
On no logic whatsoever. college game day coming to town. Night game, home dog, prime time, true freshman quarterback on the road, first road game. The OU defense is pretty damn solid, though. They got a lot of returners. It's the strength of the unit. I would not be surprised if OU's defense finds a way to score once or twice. I am changing my pick, half unit.
There we go.
Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner to cover the 7 points, home dogs in prime time. It's my favorite bet, and I hate this one this week. Everything screams that Tennessee should rout them in this game.
Don't take it to the window.
I do have a little bit of love for both of these teams. I live here in Oklahoma. My brother and my nephews are huge Vols fans. They live just outside of Knoxville. But I cannot, dude. I'm taking so many road favorites here. I just can't do it with the prime time, with game day being there. They're going to be stoked up in Norman, and it's going to be hotter than a mother sucker on Saturday. It's going to be 100 degrees here this weekend. It's going to be hot. Some bad things, weird things can happen. Give me the Sooners and the 7 points.
Love it.
I can. All right, Chad. What's Chad have on this one?
Chad, he's taking Tennessee. Welcome to the SEC. The wheels start to fall off the schooner. Give me Rocky Top because it means more.
Nice. I like that. Yeah,
Okay.
Chad.
I can dig it. The next one on our docket here, I think we've got. Let's see here.
That was a plus or
Yeah, well,
0.5 unit for me, by
I was
the way.
gonna say you didn't mention your unit, but
Yeah.
so next one, Georgia Tech at Louisville. This one is going to. I mean, that's why we picked it. Intriguing to a degree because Louisville's looked really, really good again. And Georgia Tech is still that team I think we discussed the first week, but beating FSU just kind of doesn't mean anything anymore because anybody's beating FSU. And poor Mike Norvell,
Man.
like you schedule Memphis to your, he took the job a few years ago and he kind of threw his assistant coach a bone and was like, we'll schedule you guys to Tallahassee. It's a gimme game, probably make a mill. Just take the loss, and we appreciate you guys coming on down. But and then they're like, not so fast, my friend. We're gonna take your money. And
I think it was like 1.3.
Yeah, 1.3 million to play Memphis. That's kind of crazy.
We're taking your money and the rest of the ego that you had.
Give me your money.
Yeah. So, anywho, Georgia Tech at Louisville is a 10-point spread. You guys,
10.5.
10.5. So, is Louisville, to me, if they can cover this, since we're going to start with you, Kev, if Louisville can cover this at home against a good Georgia Tech team, they went into Syracuse, gave them a nice, run for their money. Syracuse is tough at home. Louisville, I think, maybe is a step up. So if they can beat Georgia Tech by more than 10, I think Louisville is the real deal this year. So go ahead, Kev.
Okay, so a lot of the stuff that I've heard a lot of people talking about, is Louisville the real deal? And I'm not knocking you, Ryan, here. Why? Because you beat Austin Peay and Jacksonville State?
Yeah, awful.
Welcome to primetime college football. You get to play a real team here.
Yep.
I really like what Georgia Tech showed, not only against Florida State, but the gumption that they showed to come back in that Syracuse game, a game that I had as a lock for Syracuse to cover, which they did, but I was sweating. 10.5, like my man Jeff Green saying here, way too many points. Yeah. Give me the rambling wreck and Georgia Tech and Jeff Collins and that experienced quarterback, Hayes King, to keep this game at least somewhat close. I'm not a huge believer in Jeff Brom. I do think Jeff Brom is a darn good coach. 10.5 points against the ace. I mean, this is the Georgia Tech's a bowl team. Like, I am not buying Louisville giving 10.5 and getting 10.5 in this situation, giving 10.5 in this situation at all. I really like the rec to cover the spread here. I also like a little bit of over at 57.5. I think both these teams will score a little bit. I know Louisville's going to be able to score. I think Georgia Tech's offense is a little bit better than they think. But I also think that Georgia Tech's going to frustrate Louisville at times. This is going to be the first time all season they're not going to be able to just get up and down the field. Like I said, give me the Georgia Tech, give me Hayes King, cover the spread there.
Now I will say, and I always have to defend myself. I mean, I know this, but I didn't say that Louisville is the real deal.
No, but you're not. No, Ryan, you're not the only one saying it. There's been some more hype around Louisville recently, and I'm like, man, I okay. And so I went and looked at what they've done, and I'm like, you really haven't beaten anybody.
I just noticed that they've been taking care of business against the teams they should, and that not every team's been doing that. So I'm like, this is a barometer for them, Matt. I think if they can win this one and cover the spread, I'm going to lean way more towards. I think Louisville is the real deal here, which is why we have this game up. I think Georgia Tech has earned. I feel like it should be a little bit closer than that, but your pick.
This is a battle-tested Georgia Tech team. They played
exactly.
Florida State, or whatever you want to say. They're still Florida State. They played at Syracuse, and listen, they played Georgia State. Like, you could scoff at Georgia State. Georgia State would beat Austin Peay or Jacksonville State not 10 times out of 10. So like they played 3 better opponents than Louisville's played, or 4 better opponents probably.
4. Yeah.
So I mean. This is a battle tested team. I'm gonna take the battle. I like the battle tested team in this one. VMI is terrible. So sorry, I forgot about that one.
100% in agreement with Kev here. Jeff Green, too many points. Totally agree. I mean, especially I get the hook here at 10.5. So a touchdown, a field goal, I still win. Yeah. They're coming off Louisville coming off a bye too. Do they sleepwalk the first quarter to 2 quarters? They've only played 2 games. Georgia Tech, this is going to be their 5th game already. And I mean, these dudes are ready. They're going to be ready. Jeff Rom, when they're catching 14 or less points, they're only 3-6 as a favorite against the spread. 10.5, way too many for me. Give me the battle tested team, like Kev said. 10.5. I'm putting 1 unit on it. Ramblin' Wreck.
I'm there with you. I'm a full unit on this one as well.
What say Chad?
Oh, Chad with a golden one here. Georgia Tech at Louisville picks Louisville. This game is why gambling was invented. I don't think anyone would suffer through this game without some action on it. I work with a bunch of engineers from Georgia Tech, and they know about as much as football as I know about engineering. Give me the birds.
Wow. I can tell Chad is very opinionated, so this will be fun this weekend.
I think he's a lot more opinionated when he can just write it out and he doesn't have to stand in.
So the game, one of the games of the week, the Fighting Trojans of Lincoln Riley, USC, head to everyone's favorite Ann. And I don't really want to say what Ann is, but
yeah,
she's a whore.
She's a whore, yeah. Ann Arbor, but 6.5 point favorite for the Trojans. Another near touchdown underdog at home, second time in 3 weeks. Texas slapped them around. USC, had a barn burning victory over LSU. LSU goes on the road controversially and beats a game tough South Carolina team. So you're like, okay,
What the fuck were the officials calling in that game?
It's just controversial, man. If it gets any more controversial,
it's one of the worst pass interference calls I've ever seen in my entire life.
Which game was this?
The South Carolina. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I missed it.
LSU, awful pass interference call, and then
there was a hit on the quarterback too, wasn't there? Something like that.
Pick six, it was just, oh man, it's bad. So.
Shane Beamer apologized to the South Carolina fans because, there's nothing you can say to them. Just whatever the officials call, even if it feels like you've been robbed, you just have to suck it up and deal with it. But anyway, LSU went in there and showed that USC's win is a quality win over LSU. LSU may not be a top 10 team this year, but I think they're legit top 15, top 16 type team. So Michigan, new quarterback, Alex Orji entered the picture because Mr. Davis Warren was looking like Davis Warren.
Bum City.
Yeah, imagine that. So Alex Orji looks like when he was in the game, I saw him miss a couple wide open, guys, but they did move it a lot better than they did with Davis Warren. But still, man, throwing them in there against USC's defense, even if it's at home against, that team looks like they've got a lot of mojo, some swag. They're going to be able to move the ball around. Michigan's defense is really going to have to limit and shut this down to keep it within 6.5. So, Matt or Kevin? Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Michigan's defense going to be able to keep it within a touchdown?
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one multiple times today. I hate the pick, but I'm picking it solely based on Michigan's defense here. I'm going to take the Wolverines at home in the Big House. I think, the back's against the wall a little bit here. Even though they're 2-1, you drop this game, you're 2-2, with still some teams left on the schedule to play here. And I think there'll be a sense of urgency. Don't get me wrong. I think Miller Moss is by far the better quarterback in this matchup. It's not even close. I like USC, how they've kind of transformed their defense from last year. I think they went from 155th to I think they're in the 70s now, maybe 75, something like that. So they made strides, but still, they're still 75th in the country. So It's just purely a Michigan defensive play. They got 3 studs on defense that will be first round draft picks, including a cornerback, who's probably going to be in the top 5, 6, 7, or 8. And I know they can slow down USC's running game. That's not going to be a problem. But can they contain Miller Moss in the passing game? I think they have enough athletes. I'm just scared. Can they score? Can they score enough? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just a wing and a prayer on the Michigan defense at home. Give me the Wolverines plus 6.5.
Your points are completely aligned with why I'm taking Oklahoma against Tennessee. It's a wing and a prayer. You're betting on defense. You're betting on hope, right?
Yeah.
I can't do it for 2 games. I can do it for 1. I'm gonna take the Trojans here. Let me see. Like, I love what Colin Cowherd, how he breaks down games sometimes, and I know some people aren't a fan. I personally am, probably because I've been listening to the dude for 20 plus years. Was listening to him when he was on a regional radio station. Somehow I picked up in my patrol car while working at Fort Drum, New York. I get the better quarterback here, right? No questions asked. Miller Moss a better quarterback. I get the better head coach here, right? And I get an improved USC defense. I don't think you need to be that good of a defense to hold Michigan to some points here. And Michigan, in their last 2 games, have given up 49 points on that defense. They gave up almost 300 yards to Arkansas State. And while under 300 yards is a good D, it's not good when you're Michigan playing Arkansas State. Last year's Michigan team would have held Arkansas State to 107 yards.
Yeah.
I do think, like, we've seen it happen in football, especially when one side of the ball is not holding up their end of the bargain, the other side starts to lapse a little bit. We've seen it at Illinois when we have a good offense, a bad defense, or vice versa. We saw that specifically with Illinois in the early 90s with great defense and terrible offense. I'm worried my Bears are going to start doing that, right? And what happens is that the good unit starts to regress because they're just so damn frustrated. There's nothing they can do. I hate this pick. I hate it with a passion.
Yeah.
Again, 2 out of 3 weeks, giving a touchdown at home, but I can't do it. Give me the Trojans. Give me the Trojans to win this one. I think this ends. I love the fact that I get a touchdown. It's under a 7 here because I think it's like 27-20.
I'm even gonna go, like, I could see it being 27 about 9 or 13.
That offense is bad.
It's bad. I know.
Why Sharon Moore didn't go get a quarterback is beyond me.
I know.
Now, Chad's final pick.
All right. I think Harbaugh knew what he was doing to jump ship at the right time. Sharon might have a reason to cry after this one. If USC has figured out how to play defense, give me the Trojans minus the 6.5.
Okay. Now for tonight's lock, I'm going to we'll start with you, Kev, since Matt led off first and went last. We'll start off with you, Kevin, then we'll go Matt, and then Chad, and then I'll do my weekly Ryan special.
Ryan's cash money special.
The Ryan's cash money
bank special.
Heck yeah, man. Take it to the bank. So go ahead, Kev. You're locked this week.
All right. I'm not in love with this pick, but I love the situation. All right, Kansas State coming off a big win over Arizona, coming to their house on a lot of hype. This week they got to travel a little north, a little west, head over to Provo, Utah to play the BYU Fighting Mormons, right? In a night game, and tough place to play at altitude. 8:30 kickoff, 10:30. I think it's like a 10:30 kickoff. Maybe for Central Time. I think I got to look at the time here. Oh no, never mind. It's 8:30 Central Time. That game's kicking. It's kicking at 7:30 Mountain. Okay. They're gonna be. What do I say on this show? They're gonna be filled, riled up on Dr. Pepper and ready to go. BYU's a pretty good team. I don't like BYU getting 7 points at home in prime time. Give me the Fighting Mormons to cover the spread. Another game I kind of quasi-like, by the way. I'm just going to throw it out there for the folks here. It's not my lock, but I thought about it long and hard, specifically because my man Matt is in Lubbock this week. I like Texas Tech giving 3 to Arizona State. Yep. I like that pick, but I'm rolling with BYU minus the 3.
Do you see Chad's lock for you next week?
Next week, he's been on that for like 2 weeks. He's like, when's the President's Cup? Because we know what your lock's going to be. BYU plus the 7 at home against Kansas State. That is my lock.
Okay.
Okay, like it. You're right. I mean, Provo, really tough place to play, especially at night. So we'll see kind of what K-State's made of there. I'm going to go to Ames, Iowa, and I'm going to take Arkansas State plus 22.5 against the Cyclones, who their last game was a huge rivalry against Iowa. Field goal with 4 seconds left. They're still riding high. They got a bye week last week. They've had a whole 2 weeks of everybody telling them how good they are. We love you. You finally beat Iowa. You finally took down Daddy Kurt. And you're giving me 22.5 points with the team that just went into the Big House and lost to Michigan by 10. And it was maybe even a little closer than that. I know the Cyclones can score better than Michigan. They got a better quarterback and better offense, but I think Arkansas State, they've done it. What's Iowa State going to prove that the Big House hadn't already? So you give me over 3 touchdowns, give me Arkansas State plus 22.5. Book it.
You getting an 11 a.m. kickoff in that one too?
Exactly. I mean, this is Sleepwalk City for the first half.
It's one, but yeah, yeah, still, I'm with you. I think it's Sleepwalk City. I love that pick. I was actually looking at that one as well. So
to me, when sometimes it's too good to be true, but this jumps off the page, eyeballs. I was just drawn to it, and I mean, I think my thinking is correct. We'll see if they can do it, but it's what we always talk about. College kids, how getting told how good they are. I mean, it's the psychology of the sport. So,
Jeff Green chiming in there, Matt. I mean, he says something here you might like. First half spread maybe on that one.
Yeah,
I know you like first halves there. So
I would love it. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at it because I would imagine first half spread might be 12, maybe 10 to 12. So I mean, you give me 2 scores at least.
Did Chad?
Chad's got a pick. Who's Jeff Green playing for now? By the way, like is he with the Mavericks? Is he with Golden State? Where's Jeff Green at now? Jeff Green, journeyman NBA player from Georgetown.
I know he's probably close to retirement if he's not already.
I was going to say. I mean,
him and Roy Hibbert played together back in.
I think so. In Georgetown. Yeah. Hey, by the way, there's a thing called Immaculate Grid. I don't know if anybody's ever played it. I play the baseball one like crazy because I'm a baseball nut. Jeff Green is a great one to play for the NBA one. It's like Edwin Jackson and Rich Hill in baseball. You don't know if they played for both of these two teams. Just guess because they played for everybody. So,
hey, Jeff Green is back with the Rockets, still in the league.
Yes,
he is 38 years old. Can we guess what
minimum like 2.3 mil a year? Yeah.
Can we guess? Unless he just retired, but it says he's current. But can we guess what pick he was in the NBA draft of the first round?
It's like 7, wasn't he?
Sure. Okay, was that right?
Nope.
5.
5.
5.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal in college. He was a really good player. He played for the Thunder for a little bit. He's one of those guys. I talked about it. And I'm sorry, this is a sports show. We're just talking about it briefly. That when you accept your role as a professional athlete, you can stay in a league for a really long time.
That's why I see Io Dusumu doing that. So
yep, the guy who just if you accept your role and realize you're not a star in that league, you can make a lot of money. You can stick around for a long time. Whereas if you're a Deion Waiters, you're out of the league pretty quickly. All right, Chad's lock of the week: Nebraska, Illinois under 45. I actually really like that pick. I'm in alignment with it. Total, he says, but the biggest lock of the week is Chad and I's beer content over 45 on Friday.
We need a case race.
The orange camo Busch Light cans will be flowing.
So Here we go. Ryan's cash money.
To go to 4-0.
Hey, I'm telling you, Matt, take it to every time I make my pick, put money on it.
I'm listening.
We'll see how much
I'll be in
money
a state where I can legally bet college football this week, so I'm in for it.
Oh, man. Yeah,
Here
good
we
luck.
go. You guys ready? Here it is. Miami at USF. 17.5-point favorite, Miami. The game's in Tampa. Okay. USF gives Bama all they can handle, and they only pushed it up
the
to
fourth
20
quarter. Yeah.
in the fourth quarter. Alex Golish has those guys playing well. They believe this is a game I think they really believe they can win. Miami did beat up and dominate Florida, but this USF team would stomp Florida. So I'm picking, here we go. I got USF, okay, is covering the 17.5 at home. Guess what? Hey, guess what, Kev? Home dog prime time, baby.
It is a 6 o'clock kick. Yeah, I love it, dude. Absolutely love it. Yeah, that number's way too big.
17.5.
It's
not like USF's been playing like dog shit. They've actually been playing. They played Bama way better than Wisconsin did.
And you're adding into it a level of like they in that game are going to feel a little bit disrespected. A lot of those guys may have wanted to go to Miami, didn't get a chance. It's not a rivalry game in the aspect for Miami, but you better believe it is for South Florida. I like that, Ryan. I like that a lot.
Okay. Yeah. And I know you guys. So what came in second and third? I'm gonna give you this: Bowling Green at Texas A&M, 22-point underdog.
Bowling Green's good.
Bowling Green literally almost went in college, Happy Valley and beat Penn State a couple weeks ago. 22 points is a lot for Texas A&M, who has struggled to do anything on. They beat up McNeese State and then a terrible Florida team.
Yeah,
Ryan, I love a terrible Florida team in a monsoon.
Yeah,
you don't know how that weather affects different teams differently. Ryan, I want to commend you on something here, man. You are starting to come around in this betting pick. So what a lot of juvenile amateur bettors do, I don't mean juvenile is a bad way, but just new to the game when you're betting. And this whole lines and spreads things was new to you when we started this show last year. Love newbies love favorites. They love favorites and they love overs. Every average bettor loves favorites and loves overs. I love seeing you take a dog. I love seeing you take a home dog.
Yeah.
Hey. And that's why this week sucks for me. I mean, me and Matt are both like, we're taking a lot of road favorites.
It's okay, man. I'm kind of seeing things a little differently too, and listening to you, listening to Matt, So let's see if I can go 4-0, Matt. Make you some money off me this week.
I'll show you my bet slip.
By the way, Matt, did you like the USF pick? I didn't hear what you said.
I absolutely do. I think it's a great pick. I mean,
okay. And I'm only doing one because I think that adds more to it. It's like
you got to beat them by 3 scores.
USF smacked Oklahoma State last year there, and Oklahoma State was on its way to the Big 12 championship. Like that was, I mean, they can pull some stuff at home.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you guys want to hear a quick how many beers you're going to drink story?
Sure.
All right. This is a West Palm Beach story from a friend of a friend of a friend. Chad's actually involved in this story. So Chad's buddies with this guy who works for like a PR firm or something, and they got to go. They got to do this like special promo shoot in Miami, and Macho Man wanted to fly into Palm Beach for whatever reason. It's 45 minutes, an hour away, depending on traffic on 95. So the guy picks up Macho Man at the airport in a limo. He's going to drive him down to Miami to do this whatever promotional deal. They pick up Macho Man, and Macho Man's like, "Hey man, can we go get some beer?" And they're like, "Yeah, for sure." And he's, "Oh yeah." And so anyway, they go to the Speedway to get some beer. Macho Man pulls out his wad of cash, hands it to one of the guys. There's 3 guys, right? And he goes, "Get two 24 packs of whatever beer, Miller Lite, Budweiser, whatever." And I'm like, "Hey, Macho Man, it's only like an hour there, maybe a little bit more, an hour back." He goes, "Think we need more beer?" They said the two other guys in the trip drank about a total of 6 beers. There were like 3 left. Macho Man put down like 39 beers in a 2-hour trip there and back.
What
That's
an
like
animal.
that's like Wade Boggs on the cross country flag.
That's right.
Oh man,
we need Charlie Day to recreate.
That's right.
Oh,
So
that'd be hilarious.
it's going to be a good weekend. Kev, enjoy. You're getting there on Thursday night, right? To Lincoln.
Yeah. Picking up Chad Thursday, going to the game Friday. So yep.
All right. Well, that's going to do it this week. We got about 45 minutes. I think that's fair. So may the best man win this week. It's nip and tuck. You guys are right there. You never know. Kevin has the bragging rights from last year, but Matt's he's creeping. He's creeping. So going to be a good week. Illinois. Anyone here besides me think they're going to win?
I think they got a chance, but I think Nebraska wins the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm there for you guys. Come on. Wrong.
I would love to be wrong.
I know. I mean, think about this: 4-0. Prime.
I got the wrong feeling on this one. I got the wrong feeling on this one. I had the right feeling on Kansas. I got the wrong feeling on this one.
Yeah, that's okay, man. That's all right. I'm there for you guys. Anyway, so that'll do it this week. I'll be back tomorrow night. Oh, Matt's like, forget, I ain't waiting for you. Outside the Gridiron tomorrow night, Mike Farrell.